Hey now, welcome back to the Deadology Podcast from Pencil Hill Studio, New Paltz, New York. I'm your host, Howard Weiner. This is Season 4, Episode 11 of the podcast. And today, we're going to time travel back 44 years, 9 days to a memorable Grateful Dead show from the Buffalo War Memorial. That would be May 9th, 1977. The night after the immortal Cornell show, Barton Hall, on May 8th. So I was planning on doing this show last Saturday on the actual anniversary date of May 9th, but I got whacked out by a pretty bad cold, and hey, I got around to it today. I had everything set up, so onward and forward for the Buffalo show here. And before we get going with that, just a couple of quick items. Oh, and by the way, next week, Doug Schmel will be back on the podcast, and it's going to be a quick turnaround. I should have that podcast ready by the weekend. It's going to be May 23rd, 1972, Lyceum Theatre, London, one of the awesome Europe 72 shows, so you're definitely going to want to check that one out. And also, before we jump into the Buffalo show here, 2 items. First, I want to thank everybody for your comments and emails regarding the first volume of the Legends Den, which is going to be part of the podcast. I'm going to be doing it on probably a bi-monthly basis. Get an author who wrote about a musical legend in here. It could be Grateful Dead. It could be really anything as long as it's a legendary musician involved. And for the first volume, we had Randy Schmidt in here, and the discussion was on Karen Carpenter. He wrote a great book, Little Girl Blue, which told a real story. The family tried to whitewash a version that didn't implement them or in the situation as much, but he did a great job writing this book, researching it, so the real Karen Carpenter story is out there. And yeah, it was nice to see that a lot of people enjoyed that interview. Randy's brilliant writer, great researcher. I was very pleased to have him on the podcast. And just my last thoughts on why I'm so fascinated with Karen Carpenter, how this all came about. I watched a video of her. I was like, my God. When it comes to Carpenters, I think you really people should look at Karen Carpenter as a separate entity and you'll have a much greater appreciation for the music and how awesome she really was. So she's 15, just starting to play drums, just decided to play drums, not even a singer yet. Within 4 or 5 years, she's playing drums and singing number 1 hits, Close to You, number 2 hits, Superstar. I think Rainy Days and Mondays was also number 2. And I watched some videos of this. I'm like, my God, I had no idea that she was this talented and unbelievable. And it's just miraculous that someone could do that. Anybody in a 4 to 5 year period become that great at playing drums, and also, by the way, perhaps the greatest singer that ever lived. She developed all this in such a short time. And it was in the thick of so much other great music that she definitely got overlooked. I mean, the Carpenters went on to sell 100 million records, but they were definitely the opposite of the counterculture. So they never, especially she never got the proper respect she deserved. And I think it really all came down to there was a key turning point in her whole story. It was I think it was 71 was the year they approached her about not playing drums anymore and just being a lead singer, which is freaking insane. But there were critics who were saying, "Hey, we can't see her. She has this great voice. We want to see her." And some of the fans, it was out there that and Richard thought it was a good idea. People from the management company, she didn't want to do it. She's a drummer. If you've developed a great skill and you consider yourself a drummer, you're not going to want to give that up. So she fought him a little bit, but she couldn't really fight him because she respected her brother like he was a god. She was taught to worship him, and whatever he wanted to do was pretty much the way it was going to go. He was a pretty smart arranger, genius, piano guy. But yeah, so she had to give up the drums, and that was like the downfall, man. It was like instead of nurturing her talents they neutered her. They said, you're just going to go out there and be a lead singer. And yeah, it definitely hurt the legacy of Karen Carpenter for sure, because she had so much untapped talent. I mean, just anyone who could, it's miraculous. Anyone who could learn to play drums and sing that quickly is just a one in a million type of a performer. I mean, look how long it took Dylan and Garcia. They played practically all their lives, and they were focused on the moment. I mean, that's part of the problem. It all came too quick for her, and she didn't have enough. She wasn't able to stand up to her brother or especially her mother. So that was the beginning, besides the body image issues of the anorexia. But man, if she would have died in an airplane accident in, say, 1972, her legacy would be so much better. They would have been like the great Karen Carpenter. We got robbed of her talents. Instead, the Carpenters, the people she trusted, actually robbed us of her talents. But regardless, man, there's all that great music to listen to. And if I could point you guys into one, if you haven't seen her play, Rainy Days and Mondays YouTube video from the Johnny Cash show, just remarkable, man. You look at that right away, that's an instant musical legend. All right, enough on the Carpenters. Let's move on to Grateful Dead Guitar Matters. This is item number 2. So Jerry Garcia's Tiger guitar got bought for $11 million. I think it was $11,560,000. Bobby, can't recall his name right now. I don't want to butcher his last name. So instead of hanging it in a museum or in his house and showing it to friends, he's done the coolest thing with it. He's bringing it to great guitarists, letting them play it at their show. So the first guitarist who got the honor to play Jerry's Tiger guitar was Derek Trucks. I watched some of that stuff. Very cool. Derek was having a great time. You could tell he was just so enjoying playing the instrument. And then the other guitarist, there might have been another one in there. I'm not sure. I haven't totally followed this story 100%, but I saw the Al Di Meola one where he got to play the Tiger. And Al Di Meola, I think his style is more like Garcia's. They have obviously a jazz guitarist, but they have kind of a similar tone and approach, more so than most other guitarists who would play his guitar. And he just wailed in Uncle John's for like 10 minutes, man, through the Tiger. And I was like, this is incredible. What a great idea to take the guitar and actually bring it to life. Keep the spirit of Jerry Garcia going by playing his guitar, and these guitars so appreciate it. I think one cool thing would be like if there was an unannounced thing, like you went up to a Grateful Dead band, like I'm just pulling this one off the top of my head. Half Step plays in Long Island. They're really good, but they're not like Dark Star Orchestra. If this guy just showed up and offered the guitars to someone like that and just completely blew their mind, that would be pretty cool to see. But it's just nice to see this Tiger guitar. The guy's got the right attitude. Why just own the guitar and let it sit around, man? Keep the music alive. So much thanks to him, and I'm sure we're going to get to see some other great guitarists play the Tiger. I'm not sure what he's got next planned, but looking forward to it. And here's an idea: if anybody knows of another Jerry Garcia guitar going up at auction, let me know. I'm gonna start a GoFundMe account. And I promise I'll take that guitar and I'll bring it to every show and I'll make every great guitarist play it, But what a great concept to actually get something like that and not just appreciate it and have it as yours, but to bring it out there and share it with the world. Very cool. So this is going to segue right into the Buffalo show of 1977. I once did have an encounter with a Jerry Garcia guitar. It was at the Dead and Company show at Barn Hall, Cornell. I think it was 2023. It's 3 years ago already. It seems like yesterday. But so I'm at the show. Very tough ticket. I wasn't necessarily trying to get in. I went there, had a good time, listened to the show with other Deadheads outside the hall. I would have liked to find the way in, but I couldn't. But I'm leaving my hotel 4 o'clock. I'm heading into Ithaca. And I'm at the Best Western. Some guy's around the corner. He goes, "Hey, come here. I want to show you something." I'm figuring this guy's going to show me like some weed or something, man. I'm like, what's up with this? So he grabs me. You could tell him I was into the Grateful Dead. He's check this out, man. This is the guitar Jerry played at Cornell, and there on the table was the Travis Bean. It was that totally blew my mind. Like I just happened to be walking out of my room at the exact right time. This guy wasn't even staying at the Best Western. His name skips me. I wish I could recall that. You could look it up. But yeah, I took a picture of me with the Travis Bean that Jerry played at Cornell. I put my hand on the guitar. Yeah, it was pretty insane just to be up there. And at that particular time, that guy was in the Best Western. He was, showing the guitar to different people. I think he wanted to get into an after party, show it to people there. I don't think it didn't get to John Mayer's hands to play that night. But so yeah, I actually, I'm going to put this photo up on Facebook, me and Travis Bean in Cornell on the anniversary of the Immortal Cornell show. And of course, that leads us to Buffalo because that's the guitar that Jerry played all this great music on that we're about to explore. That amazing month of May, man. The Travis Bean just, one of a kind sound. It was definitely not as long as around as Tiger. Tiger's the more iconic guitar. But man, Jerry Garcia made some incredible history on that guitar in 1977. So let's jump right into this Buffalo show. They open up with Help on the Way, Slipknot, Franklin's. I'm going to give the show a better intro in a second, but I think I've talked enough so far, and I just want to jump right into an audio highlight from the opener. We're going to do the Slipknot, Franklin's transition. What a great way to start the show after an immortal night in Cornell. Hey, let's go back to May 8th, Barton Hall. The second set starts with an incredible Scarlet Fire. The eighth time the Grateful Dead played it, and uh, one of the best of all time. It stood the test of time. That Scarlet Fire, unbelievable. Set ends with Morning Dew. Once again, a monumental Morning Dew. Um, Such a unique place to see the Grateful Dead, unlike any other building. The big Cornell University imprint over the flat glass window with a with the map of the world on it. Just an incredible place, and yeah, such a had to be such a memorable night for everybody there. So you come out of the show, your mind's blown in that Barton Hall, and it's snowing out, and this is May 8th, the night of May 8th, and it's snowing out when you get out of the show. Next show is in Buffalo. So anybody traveling there, it's a 4-hour drive. I thought it might be a little longer. I looked it up on Waze. But yeah, so there were probably a decent amount of people going to the Buffalo show, and school was out, so college students might have been following. But after you saw that Morning Dew, I could see myself being out there, even if I didn't have tickets. I was like, we're going to Buffalo. But the trip to Buffalo, definitely a little treacherous with the snow, but you make it to Buffalo. You're in there, the crowd's psyched, there's a buzz, everybody's talking about the show the night before. Grateful Dead come out, and they open up with Help on the Way. Another one of their new masterpieces. Just think of how fun a time that might be. Like in the mid 80s, late 80s, they're breaking out Built to Last and songs from that album. Not the same as Help on the Way, Slipknot Franklin's. So there just must have been like this incredible excitement around that time. And awesome version of Help Slip Franks to Open. Just a nice little huge jam suite to get things going. Help on the Way has a nice long intro. The Slipknot Franklin's bridge we heard was just very cool. The Slipknot bridge was, I think, a little longer than usual. Franklin's Tower, hot all the way through. I especially like the Plan Iced Harvest Wind, the jam after that one. But it's a very even keel kind of Help on the Way. Slipknot Franklin's not all, just equally hot all the way through. I'd say there's two better versions from the year 77. I like the first show of the year, Swing Auditorium, as a killer Help Slip Franks. And perhaps the best of them all is the one from Winterland, June 9th, 77. But to be third in 77 is pretty high praise. Great Help on the Way, Slipknot Franklin's, especially to open a show. So cool stuff. Another thing about this particular show, this was one of my first tapes. I happened to get, in my first 12 tapes, one was Cornell, second set. I also got the first set pretty quickly. And one was the first set of Buffalo. I didn't get the second set of Buffalo as quickly. So this has always been a favorite of mine. This show was an audience. This was before we got a hold of the Betty boards in 86, 87, I believe it was, somewhere around there. So I listened to this first set so much, just loved it, man. I could even remember, I could see it as if I wrote it out yesterday. It was a red ink on a Maxell tape. I could see exactly the way I wrote these songs out on the tape. Just a tape that got played over and over. So one of the nice things for me coming back to this show is I've listened to the second set before, but I really don't know it, not nearly anyway as much as the first set. So it's gonna be cool. It was cool to go through that again. And so after the Help on the Way, Slipknot Franklin's, you get a Cassidy. Cassidy's from this period aren't as developed as they would be, but man, this is a great version. The band's absolutely on fire. Even though it's not as long a jam as you would get in later versions, Jerry's ripping during this Cassidy, and you can tell that the band really started picking up steam at the end of that. Franklin's going into Cassidy. Good versions of Brown Eyed Women, Mexicali followed. Tennessee Jed, and a lot of great 77 Tennessee Jeds. This is one of them. They take their time, develop the jam nicely, and that brings us. I went through a couple of these songs a little quickly, so we're up to the seventh song, and the seventh song's a beaut, man. It's going to be an audio highlight. It's one of the best big rivers you're ever going to hear. I think the only one which I might put ahead of this one is from Madison Square Garden, September 21st, 82. That would be my pecking order on the big rivers. This one, killer, man. Jerry just goes off, and you could just hear the band's locked in tight, man. There's something about 77. The two drummers sound better than they ever sounded, and everything's just locked in and elevated and ready to go. And this Big River is a great example of that. So let's jump right in and hear the last awesome, sublime instrumental of Big River. The Grateful Dead strike again, romping, stomping their way through the Johnny Cash classic, Big River. Cool version, just the band, you could just hear the synergy, man. In their playing, there's a certainty. Everybody knows where they're going. They know the path they're going down, just totally locked in. And 77 had that like no doubt feel. The band was on a mission when they were in peak form for much of the year. Just to have that certainty to the playing and just knowing how to finish off a jam, as they did on that Big River, one of the best you'll ever hear. Moving along, 8th song, Peggy-O. I think this is the third week in a row I had the pleasure of having a Peggy-O as part of the set list. Another great version here. This is the year that Peggy-O really seemed to take off, 1977. This is a cool version, well sung, good jam. But there's a couple from this year, 77, where they double the solo and a couple of really excellent versions. I think English Town's a tremendous Peggy-O. But yeah, another choice selection. Peggy-O, 2 songs left to this unbelievable first set. which is just clicking on all cylinders. Unusual that you get so many hot songs in an opening set. uh, I was just thinking that I don't even mean to be funny with this, but probably in the next spot, which I think is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the 10th spot, Sunrise, the Donna song, and this is probably the best version you'll ever hear. It's I love this one because I listen to the tape so much. The cool thing about this song that works for me, there's a number of cool things. I'm not a fan of the lyrics. I don't think the lyrics are very good, but the sentiment. The lyrics may not have hit the spot, but the sentiment of the music, the melody, that puts across the feeling that Donna wanted to put across with this. Her singing's great on this. It's a beautiful version of Sunrise. The band's into it. Garcia's got his little guitar solo on the money. There was a nice emotional, a nice emotional plug to this song, man. It's but what it did, usually when they played Sunrise, if they played a good Sunrise, something major was waiting on deck. In Alabama, on May 17th, 77, they did a Sunrise late in the first set. Then they ended the set with a killer Scarlet Fire, which happened here on the Grateful Dead channel just yesterday because it was May 17th. But yeah, Sunrise was usually the calm before a storm. Kind of like a tsunami coming in where the water draws back. That's kind of like what Sunrise did to the Grateful Dead, because they would usually come with an onslaught after going through a version of Sunrise. So really a pleasurable version of Sunrise, and they closed the set out with The Music Never Stopped. And I mean the with capital T-H-E. This was definitely the best Music Never Stopped they played up to this point, arguably the best one they've ever done. At this point, Music Never Stopped really didn't have a building jam. If that little section that we call a building jam, probably 20 seconds here, which is typical for 76 or 77. As we go later into 77, that's when they started the building jam, really developing it. And then you go 78 on, they really made a point of having that pre-jam, building jam could be like 2, 3, 4 minutes. It could be really hot. So that enhanced some other Music Never Stops. But when they turn it over into the main part of Music Never Stopped, nothing beats this one from the Buffalo War Memorial. Man, I've been lucky to listen to this for so long. So the tape I listened to all my life was an audience tape. Great recording audience tape. You almost can't even tell it's an audience tape. And then the Betty boards came out. And the first thing I noticed, and it was kind of tragic, there's a 30-second cut in the soundboard. And this 30-second cut it's almost like a perfect cut. Like if you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't even miss it. You could listen to the soundboard without an audience patch. And it sounds like one of the greatest Music Never Stops ever. But the 30 seconds that are missing, that are on the audience tape, unlike anything you'll ever hear in any Music Never Stopped. And we're about to hear this, obviously. So you'll hear where it goes from soundboard to the audience soundboard mix. And that 30 seconds probably makes this the greatest Music Never Stopped ever. Garcia just hits these playful, taunting notes, signaling that the end is near. And it's just like dragging the song on for another 30 joyful seconds. But without that, it's just a great music. That 30 seconds is essential. So if you listen to this, always make sure you're listening to a soundboard with an audience patch. It's essential because this Music Never Stopped is just brilliant. And talking about brilliance, I mean, just the mathematical way the Grateful Dead lay out these songs, especially Garcia's creative flow. And I've talked about this before. If I think about the greatest mathematicians, physicists, I think Einstein 1, Jerry Garcia 2. That's how great he is with his just his leads, incrementally, just moving up, and even when he's not making logic, it's logical somehow. So this Music Never Stopped. This is probably the perfect example of Jerry just moving down the line, incrementally hotter in perfect increments. And also you got to give the entire band a ton of credit because they're right with him all the way. They at this point, I think they played with him enough. They understand the way the Garcia's mind works, and just the results of this music never stopped are astonishing. I can never listen to this one enough. So enough of a build up on that. Let's hear the amazing Music Never Stopped jam from Buffalo. The sensational playing of May 77 is undeniable. You got all the great new songs, new combinations. May 77 gave us the first Estimated Eyes. We could go on and on just talking about all the great stuff. But one thing they they seem to be clearly doing almost as if they were listening to the tapes after the show and saying, we could beat that tomorrow night. It's just the way they were topping the best versions ever, night after night in May. Just to give you an example, like that Music Never Stopped. They played a great one in New Haven, May 5th. And then they played it in Boston Garden May 7th. The one in Boston Garden is definitely better than the May 5th one. They topped it. And in Buffalo, they just topped the one from Boston on May 7th, which is an incredible version. And this went on with numerous songs like Mississippi Half Step. Whatever the last time they played it, I think it may have been May 4th before the Boston show. They topped it in Boston on May 7th. And it would be topped again as the year rolls along. But especially this attention to detail in May. May 5th, New Haven, they played a Sugaree. May have been the best one they played up to that point. Then the one at the Fox Theater, May 19th, the best ever up to that point. And then I don't know if they topped it in Hartford on May 28th, but they possibly topped the Fox Theater one that they did on May 19th. So consciously, either they were trying to take these songs to new heights. It's incredible when you listen to May and you really get into it. And then all the different games they were playing with songs, coming up with creative little loops, like the playing loop 519 in the Fox Theater, where they did playing. They started the end of Uncle John's and then went into the beginning of Uncle John's and did a whole great loop there. May 22nd, where you got all the Wharf Rat, the Terrapin, Morning Dew all together. Such creativity. They were really going after it, in a very almost obvious kind of way. So the music never stopped. Unbelievable there to end the set. And I think for an official release, if I would ever be able to go back in time, whatever concert you want to be at, I think the perfect release that would have done the Grateful Dead so well, if they were thinking in this terms of releasing a 77 album, would be to take the first set of Buffalo and the second set of Cornell. That would probably come out to four records, four albums, not four albums, three records, six sides, kind of like Europe 72. And I just think that would have sold so well and definitely just, spoke to how awesome the Grateful Dead were in 77 and might have been their greatest, probably would have been recognized as their greatest live album. But just two perfect sets back to back. Second set, Cornell, first set, Buffalo. And now I'm just going to take a brief minute here to discuss the Cornell controversy, why some people think Buffalo's better, Boston's better, this show, Cornell went from being possibly overrated to getting a bad rap. Any kind of Buffalo's better than Cornell talk should be squashed because the Buffalo second set is not on the same level. The first set's definitely better. The first set of Buffalo is definitely better than Cornell. But Cornell's second set kills Boston and Buffalo. That's why I have to give it a clear edge over those shows. But I think the reason this whole Cornell overrated thing came to pass was back in, I got the tape in 1981. We just knew it was phenomenal right away. No one was pushing it on us. Nobody from the Ithaca committee was, trying to promote it. It became legendary because it was legendary. And then it had nothing to do with the Betty Boards because it was legendary before the Betty Boards came along and gave us that great version of Cornell and so many other tapes, especially from 77. But I think the one thing which gave it the overrated reputation, which started this whole thing, was when Dead Bass came out and they polled Deadheads on what the greatest songs of all their favorite versions. And the Jack Straw from Cornell was number one. The Estimated from Cornell was number one. I believe the Minglewood from Cornell was number one. These weren't even close to the best versions, but everybody had Cornell and loved Cornell, so it definitely got overrepresented in the best ever versions in Dead Bass. And people were saying, "Wait a minute, this is overrated. This is not the way it is," and that part is very true. And unfortunately, that gave a license to almost cut down on Cornell. Cornell is a spectacular show. Second set is special. Once in a maybe the best second set of 1977. It's not very long, but it's just exactly perfect, man. So I'm a big backer of Cornell, and the second set of Buffalo kind of, it was a little weird for me to like. I didn't know it too well. I mean, I wrote about it in my book Grateful Dead 77: The Rise of Terrapin Nation. I didn't have it like right away. I listened to it a couple of times. I never got enthralled by it. It's like this time when I was doing this podcast, I was like, I wanted to really listen to it, really see if it could hit me in a different way. The second set, what I would say about this second set, the whole of the second set is almost bigger than the individual songs. So there is one killer version on this, and I'll get to that as we go through the set list here. But they came into the set relaxed. Just think of what they had done. They just killed it in Cornell. Both those sets, the first set is from Cornell's pretty hot. The second set's the obviously the gold. But Boston, freaking hot show. First set of Buffalo, ridiculous. So that they just approached the second with Buffalo like a little more relaxed. I don't know if they were a little drained of energy, but they were just like, hey, we got to take a new approach to this set. We can't just keep playing top what we did the last time, and it was almost too much. You just couldn't take it any further in that vein. So the second set of Buffalo has a nice relaxed feel, which is what had to happen. It's just it was kind of like a natural thing. So it opens up Bertha, Good Love, and Ship of Fools. Pretty common, and it's good here. It's good, but wasn't that exciting. I've heard much better Bertha, Good Lovins from 77, like the one from Alabama. That Bertha is like shot out of a cannon. By the way, if I had to rate a second best show of 77 ever, it would be that Alabama May 17th, man. Incredible show. But so you got Bertha, Good Love, and Ship of Fools, all good performances, but I think they definitely had to take a second to relax after so much hot material in the past. These are 3 days in a row: Boston, Ithaca, and Buffalo. And then you get Ship of Fools, and I think the first really good solo where you think that they're coming back into it, they're regaining their footing, is during the Ship of Fools. Really nice guitar solo in that. So you got that to start off with. Fourth song of the second set, Estimated Profit. And this is a pretty great estimated. Probably one of the better ones of the year. And I think one of the things that sets it off is that the band, I'm pretty sure they know that for the first time, they're going to segue Estimated Profit into a song. Up to this point, all the Estimated Profits were standalones. So the jam is a little different than most of the other estimateds. Some noodling. It gets a little spacey, which was kind of unusual for the estimated, because obviously the band's kind of kicking around where they're going with it, even though I do believe they knew they were going into the other one. So pretty cool estimated. The drummers kind of lead the way into the other one. And the other one, it's a little understated. It's good. I've listened to it so many. I keep listening to this. I'm like, am I missing something here? Is my judgment on this wrong? It's a good other one. It's just in 1977, most of the other ones are absolutely smoking. You got Fox Theater, May 18th, the best other one from the year, one of the greatest of all time, where there's just a real intense, almost like a 1969 intensity to these other ones. This one's good, but it's kind of like the rest of the show. Once again, when I'm listening to this tape, I liked it a lot. Without anything striking me without a lot of these songs striking me as being unbelievable in the vein of 77, which in a way is cool. It's like a different vibe to this second set. So the other one, they really didn't get to that point where they're really shredding it before the lyric. And then when they go into that second jam, it's going pretty good. And Garcia does some repetitive licks and it kind of just falls into drums. So it's a little short. A couple other great other ones from 77. The one Chicago, I have 513, I like a lot. Also, the one from Colgate, short, one verse, but ridiculous, just like incredibly powerful. And there's a bunch from this year that are good. But the one of the cool things, this is stand out. It's the first time estimated has segued into something else, another historic notch to the Buffalo belt. So then we get a little drum solo, and the drums at this point are almost a certainty. I think this is the first year where the drums came up almost every night at this point. And the drummers talking about certainty. The drummers were playing, and they led the band into Not Fade Away. The band had no choice but to jump into it. They had played it the night before in Cornell, so it kind of surprised me when I listened to the tape again. I'm like, I'm surprised they did Not Fade Away, because the one from Cornell, one of the greatest versions ever. So here's Not Fade Away again, but it caught me off guard because it's actually a very hot version. A lot of good playing in it, so it kind of adds to this overall. The whole picture is better than the individual songs at this show. The Not Fade Away here is very cool. I liked it a lot. A lot of kind of understated but very hot playing from Jerry on this and the band. So it's a good Not Fade Away. And then it kind of segues, slows up a little bit, and eases its way into Comes a Time. It's a beautiful transition. And now we're going to have another audio highlight that Comes a Time. This could be the best version ever. It's incredible. Off the top of my head, I think they played Comes a Time only 66 times. I think that's the right number. I'm just going off of a fact that I remember from a few years back, maybe when I was writing one of my books. But the great thing about Comes a Time, in the ballad slot, it has the highest success rate. Now, Morning Dew is my favorite in the ballad slot, as I'm sure it is for most people. But occasionally depending on the year, Jerry could miss it. The jam may not, the Dead really had to be on to kill Morning Dew. Every time Jerry played Comes a Time, I don't know a bad version of Comes a Time, or one where the jam isn't impressive. Now, you take Stella Blue, Black Peter, songs that I love. A lot of times they didn't fully jam out at the end, and you just got to enjoy the song. Comes a Time always got the full treatment. I think there was something about this that was really special to Jerry. And for sure, he always gave it his all. And every single version you'll hear of Comes a Time, there's a great jam there. It's it's undeniable. So that's and this may be the best Comes a Time the band ever played. So the outro is just ridiculous. Singing's great on it. You got Jerry and Donna singing sweetly together here. So yeah, definitely highlight time, man. Enjoy one of the best Comes a Times.
How it feels inside.
As you can hear at the end of that, Extraordinary Comes a Time, the band begins to noodle into Sugar Magnolia. And Sugar Magnolia usually leads to a romping conclusion. But once again, this set, it's very peculiar for 1977 to have like such. It's almost like a 1976 set we have here. It's a kind of a relaxed Sugar Mag. Now the band is hitting it pretty good in the instrumental, and Jerry's he's noodling, but he's not really going after it. It's almost like he's stepping back and letting the band the light shine on the band. And they just had to go for a different sound in this second set, where they stepped out of their almighty Hammer 77 shoes and just played this with a certain vibe, with a certain moodiness. So I mean, you're at the show, you must be going nuts, dancing and happy as hell that they end the show with Sugar Mag after that great Comes a Time. So yeah, it's especially once you get through the first three songs, it's very desirable set list, really good listening, but not in the 77 vein of just having these unbelievable versions where they're trying to top the world. So, it's an unusual kind of cool way of approaching it. It makes this set very different from a lot of 77. And once again, talking about desirable songs, get an Uncle John's Band encore. And once again, good playing in it, no complaints, but just not the over the top, knock your socks off kind of 77 romp with the Uncle John's. But very cool to hear Uncle John's Band and the encore slotted to end the phenomenal show. And obviously, it's especially strong with the first set, man. That first set, that tape, I played it to death, man. It was incredible. So Buffalo, Boston, Cornell, just a special time, man. Love the Grateful Dead in 77. They went to St. Paul after this. Did a lot of cool stuff. And as usual, and they played a good Sugaree in St. Paul. I think he had some Lazy Lightning Supplication in there. And I recall, I can't right now exactly what it was, but there was like a Wharf Rat, Uncle John's, and there was a long space there. Each one of these 77 shows showcases some kind of unique thing. So they were really on a cool creative bend. Definitely trying to impress almost every single night out in 77. And Buffalo, hell of a show, man. War Memorial. So hey, everybody, that's going to wrap up this episode. The next episode is going to be it's going to be a long one, man, because that May 23rd, 1972 show from the Lyceum Theater, just so much great stuff, so many songs. I think it's a 4-hour show. Just a real lot to admire and talk about with that show. And Doug will be here, so forget about it. We're going to be that's going to be a marathon of a podcast, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm going to be doing a Zoom call with Doug on Friday. I should have that episode up on the weekend, Saturday or Sunday. Hey, once again, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Howard Weiner. Want to reach out to me, catfishgarcia82 at yahoo.com. Tangledupintunes.com is where you can find my books and various things on my website. And hey, it's been a great time. Speak to you guys soon. Peace out.